This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be? But me, your me. Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Louie. Thank you for joining me. This is the NFL Draft Prospects 101, your guide to some of the biggest and hottest names of the 2015 NFL Draft. We're talking wide receivers, we're talking Super Six, and this is the final player in that group of six. We're talking UCF's, University of Central Florida's, Breshad Perriman. Here's a guy that many people don't know about. And the first time I laid eyes on this guy was out of necessity. Last year, breaking down Blake Bortles' tape, you couldn't help but see two guys continuously jump off the screen at you. Rennell Hall, who will also be in this draft, and Breshad Perriman. Now, those two guys just kept making plays for Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles made a lot of plays on his own, but these guys were a big part of the reason why Blake Bortles went third overall to the Jacksonville Jaguars in last year's draft. And this guy can play some football. So let's break down his pros and talk about where he lies in the upcoming NFL draft. Good size. At 6'2", 211 pounds, he falls right in line with a lot of these guys that are in the Super Six. Just a huge target for a quarterback, very inviting target, a guy that you feel like, I can throw the football anywhere around this huge radius and he's going to make a play for me. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, the receivers aren't getting any smaller and they're not getting any slower, and this guy falls right in line with that at 6'2", 211. The guy is a big target and he knows how to use his frame. And we'll move on to his next pro, which is he ran the entire route tree at UCF. Now, despite playing in a spread offense, he played in a spread with Blake Bortles, played in a spread offense this past fall, he still ran every route. You can see the slant on tape. You can see the dig route on tape. You can see the go route. You can see the back shoulder fade. You can see the stop. You can see the comeback. You can see all of the different routes on the route tree, the deep post. All of it is there. That bang 8 that teams love to throw, he ran it. It's all there on the tape. And so I don't think he's going to have any problems jumping right into a pro style offense and getting it done day number one. You want to talk about another pro? I love lineage guys. He is a lineage football player. Dad was a beast in the early 90s for the Detroit Lions. And it's funny, I was a huge Barry Sanders fan. And those teams were good. In the early 90s with Wayne Fontes as the head coach, and you could throw any quarterback in there, Eric Kramer, Rodney Peete. They used to win football games because of their offense. Their defense usually was bad, but that offense was electrifying. And they could run it with Barry Sanders, and they could throw it with Herman Moore on one side and Breshad Perriman on the other. This is his son, and so the apple does not fall far from the tree. Breshad Perriman can play some football, and so could his dad. He's got that lineage, and I love the bloodlines going in to the National Football League. Will make tough catches. Okay, this guy will catch the football in traffic despite a lot of different defenders being around, despite a lot of things going around him. He will find a way to pull the football in and make some tough catches. And I was impressed with his ability to go down and make some tough catches, make some diving stabs, and go down and take a football that looked like it was going to hit the ground, or go up and climb the ladder and come down with a football. He would make the tough catches, but then he would do something else, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Another pro for Breshad Perriman. Sneaky fast and very physical. You look at his frame and he looks the part of a physical receiver, and he plays the part of a physical receiver. A lot of guys like to get in his face because he looks slow. They don't really believe he has speed. They don't think that he can run by them, so they like to get in his face, and they want to come and challenge him. They want to come test the kid, get in his face and look him right in the eyes and say, I dare you to beat me off the jam and then run by me. And so he's up to the challenge often. Will beat guys off the line of scrimmage, get inside, win on a slant. Will beat guys inside, win on a dig route. Will beat guys to the outside, get up the field, and go on a 9 route. I've seen him win at the line of scrimmage. But then, the part that tricks a lot of defenders is he's faster than he looks. You know who I feel like I can equate him to? Remember Roy Williams out of Texas? When he came into the league early on as a Detroit Lion, when he was explosive, he didn't look fast. Roy Williams didn't look like a fast guy at 6'3", about 217, 220 pounds. Roy Williams didn't seem fast, but if you made a mistake, Roy could pick him up and put him down and make you pay. Breshad Perriman is very similar in that regard. He's not a guy that looks the part of a fast receiver, but if you sleep, if he catches you flat-footed on a 9 route, he'll run by you and he'll make a big play. Saw him do it a couple of times on tape. It is there. I would love to know what his 40 time is because he looks like a guy that could easily, in a straight line situation like a 40, could easily run a sub 5, 4.5 40 and run a 4.47, run a 4.45. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. But again, he didn't show up at the combine, was injured, and so I think that's going to hurt his draft stock. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Capable blocker. That's another pro. At Central Florida, you know you're a blocker. You know you're a guy that the coaching staff trusts because in a spread offense, you're going to get a lot of bubble screens, going to get a lot of tunnel screens, going to get a lot of hitches, a lot of short plays, a lot of slot screens, a lot of screens where receivers are going to have to be primary blockers on the play. You're going to have receivers and tight ends that block their tail off because plays won't work unless the guys next to you are giving maximum effort in the blocking department. He's one of those guys that the coaching staff trusts that when they were running some type of screen, he usually was on the side of the screen where it was being thrown because he was going to be a guy that was going to mix it up in the pass blocking department and was going to get in the face of a defender and shield them one way or the other and make it easy on the ball carrier. And so, is he the best blocker in the world? No, but he was a capable blocker, willing to get in the fray and get in the way. And sometimes that's all you need in football. So, we go on to his cons now. And there are a couple of nitpicky ones, and then there are some where you're just like, dude, you just got to be better, okay? We start with often missed times jumps. Now, nothing frustrates me more than a guy that can get up. I mean, a guy that can just leap, but doesn't know when to time it. You can jump as high as you want, okay? If you mistime your jump, your chances of catching the ball slim to none. Now, you got some guys that just defy gravity. They jump too early, but they jump so high that they're coming down, and guys have already jumped, went up, and came down, and he's still in the air. And Michael Jordan used to do it all the time. Michael would go up, guys would go up, come down, Mike still float in the air, watching guys jump up and down. Not everybody has that ability. He's one of those guys that his leaping ability is nice. It's not great, it's not stellar, but it's solid. At 6'2", you don't have to jump out of the gym to make a difference. But he'll jump way too early, and I saw that more than once. As a matter of fact, he catches a Hail Mary. Final game of the season against East Carolina University with the division title, with the conference title on the line. They throw a Hail Mary, UCF is down, they have to catch this to win the game. Three East Carolina defenders are standing there. They all jump, swat at the football, they miss. Breshad Perriman jumps way too early, but because he's able to sneak behind them, still catches the football. In a perfect world, he would have been docked for jumping way too early and not caught the football. Luckily enough for him, the East Carolina defenders did the exact same thing. They jumped way too early. This time they jumped, he was able to come down with football and the game winner, and they won the conference for a second consecutive year. But he's got to start timing his jumps better. He does a poor job of doing that. And in the National Football League, you don't time your jump right and correctly, chances are you're not going to catch the football. He will drop the football. This is disappointing to me because I talked about him making tough catches, and I'm like, man, that was an impressive catch. And then he'll win off the line of scrimmage, beat a guy up the sideline, perfectly thrown football by the quarterback right here, and they'll drop the football. I mean, we're talking about a potential 70-yard touchdown down the sideline, and he just flat out drops the football. Then you'll have him run a comeback. He'll run a 12, back to 10, get right here. Oops, forgot one thing. Yeah, you guessed it, the football. You know, he'll run a beautiful slant. Went off the line of scrimmage. Get off me. Get inside. Ball right here. Boop, ski. Ball goes right through his hands. And you're just like, dude, you did all of that. You did everything correctly, and then you didn't finish. It's almost like a team in basketball playing great defense. For 23 seconds of the shot clock, the team throws up some prayer, and then you allow them to get an offensive rebound. Oi! You gotta finish the possession with a defensive rebound. You gotta finish the play with a catch. Catch football, dude. Catch it. Not overly athletic is the next con. He's not a guy that strikes me as an elite playmaker. He's not a guy that I feel like you get him the ball right now and watch him work. You can go ahead, take a step back, get you a little bit of popcorn, make sure you put some butter on that, and watch him work and just feel like you're at the movies because he's putting on a show. That's not the case. He's not one of these guys that you throw a hitch to and say, oh, watch out now. He can make a guy miss and make something happen. Not his game. Now, what he will do is he will make tough catches. What he will do, sneak up on you if you flat-footed and run by you. What he will do is catch a pass in stride and accelerate away from you. Yeah, he will do that. But to say, hey, start from nothing, start at 0, catch the football, you're not moving, and now get it up from 0 to 60 quickly, make a guy miss, zig and zag, and get up the field and get me something. And that's not his game. So that's why he was always the one blocking on those wide receiver screens and not the one actually catching them. There's a reason for that. And so, to me, not overly athletic. But don't let him sneak up on you now. Because again, you question his athleticism. You go ahead and downplay him if you want. He will run by you. So I don't want you to think that he can't run. He's just not a very agile guy. Yak is a possibility, but it is not a definite, and that basically speaks to what I was just talking about in that department where you just throw him a hitch. Guy's playing 7 yards off the ball, he just wants to turn around, catch it, and you just tell him, hey, make something happen. He's not that type of guy, okay? He's not the type of guy that you throw a slant to, have a defender trailing him on the play, and is able to take that slant and turn it into a 47-yard gain. He's a guy that will run that bang 8, split the seam, catch it in stride, and run by the safety. He's that type of guy. He'll catch that dig route. If you hit him in some zone coverage and you hit him in stride, he'll run away from the corner that's trailing, that's in zone coverage, that, oh man, he got me, trying to run him down. He'll run by that guy, he'll run by the safety, get up the sideline, and turn a 22-yard pass into a 69-yard pass. He can do that, but he's not the type of guy that will catch a curl in a zone, make a linebacker miss, juke the safety, stiff arm the corner, and hightail it into the end zone for a 45-yard touchdown. That's not his game. So there's some things he can work on, but to me, he is who he is as a football player. I like him a lot, and if you ask me, I would take him over a guy like Jalen Strong in the draft. I want to see what that 40 time is, though. That makes a big difference, and I'll be paying attention to see what he runs as a 40, because if he can get a sub 4.5 40, I think this guy could be one of the steals of potentially the first round. I think because he did not perform at the combine because of an injury, I think that's going to stop him from being drafted in the first round. I think of the Super Six, I think he's the guy on the outside looking in when we're talking about first round receivers at the end of this process. But if you're talking about the potential to come in and help a team day number 1, I take Breshad Perriman over a guy like Jalen Strong, just because I think he can do more right away. Jalen Strong will help you more so in the red zone because of his size and his ability to make plays on the football with the back shoulder fade. and going up the ladder and catching the football at its highest point. But Perriman is not that much smaller than Strong, and I think he can do a lot of the things that Jalen Strong can do and do it in a better package, as a complete package, as a football player. So my eye is on Breshad Perriman to see where he lands, because again, somebody's going to get a steal in Breshad Perriman. I think he's a really good football player that a lot of people are sleeping on because he went to Central Florida. That's going to do it for Breshad Perriman and his NFL Draft Prospects 101 breakdown. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me, because we're about to switch gears now. I've knocked down the Super Six, and we're going to come back and talk more receivers. This draft is loaded at receiver. We'll come back, and we're going to switch gears. Not going to tell you what gear we're switching to, but we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about another position. See you next time. There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter at @InTheLabRoom, or you can like the Facebook page at In the Lab Room. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and at In the Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.